Hey. Okay, so as soon as I go live, my kids are loud. The dog starts barking. All when I'm about to go live. It was so quiet in here until Sage got home. And then all hell broke loose. No, I'm just kidding. So the good news is, just so you guys know, yes, Phoenix passed his test. Yay! He passed his road test. And now I have two of them on the road driving. Fun. Oh, yes, it is, Christina. I watched some of it already, just, so I can confirm what they were talking about. Oh boy, but we're going to get to that. So first, let me say, if you guys want to support me, you can do it multiple ways. Number one, hit that thumbs up. Number two, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I keep teetering between 321.399 and 401. So we need lots of subscribers to go over the 410 mark so it doesn't drop if two people drop. Because if you notice, I'm going like 3 to 4 all day. So, all right, let me tell you this first. Thumbs up. I updated the website, not in full. I only did the opening, but I think you guys will like it. And that's at energycandles.com. I have a bunch of candles I need to upload, Valentine's Day candles, all the dupes that I got, phenomenal. But I put some jokes on, I changed it around a little, just the opening slide. But I got new wicks in, got new scents in. I'm really excited about it. I think you guys will be really excited about it. And I know I don't sound too excited, but I'm just exhausted. I've been doing so much with college and kids and driver's test, and my brain is fried, literally. I wasn't even going to go live tonight. But I'm like, I cannot go live 2 days in a row. So here we are. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, while I'm talking, if you guys want to check out the new website, not the new website, the new homepage, go to, I could show you guys actually. So, that'll be easier. Hold on. Let me put them on hold. What? Why did I just open up YouTube? I'm telling you, my brain is fried. What? All right. All right, you know what? I can't do it that way. I have to do it this way. Roses are red, violets are blue. A candle is cheaper than dinner for two. That's right. Yes, that is my opening page. I thought it was cute as hell. And then I only updated this one. I haven't updated these yet. Because I'm like, if I don't go live, these guys are going to kill me. So, yeah. So, opening is updated. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Jason. I still have a lot more to do. Like, a lot. I have to update so many candles. But it's a start. I got the beginning done. Which is a good thing. So, okay. And if you want a candle, you go to energycandles.com. ENERGIE. All right. So there's also a case that I want to talk to you guys about. Tonight, by the way, we're going for 20 super chats. If I am such a tragedy pimp, like all these people want to say, well, then I should make money like tragedy pimps. So We're going for 20 Super Chat, 20 PayPals, 20 Cash Apps, whatever you want to put it. No, I didn't, Christina. I haven't really even looked at YouTube lately. I've been watching movies, honestly. Just because it seems to be like the same old, over and over and over and over and over. However, one of my members recommended a case to me that another creator talked about. So I listened to the whole live while I was working on the website, actually, and I'm kind of iffy about it. Like, it makes sense, but some of the things in it, I'm not so sure that I agree. And then it's kind of felt like a little bit of a money grab at the end. Not for her, but for this lawyer. It's kind of weird, but the case itself seems a little interesting. She has a warrant and talking to media. Oh, no shit. Hey, Southern gal. Woo, woo. That's one down. 19 to go. Love the donut melt. Right, thank you. Well, don't forget, though, Xana's mom, I mean, I remember this. Xana's mom was not in touch with Xana for like years, I heard. I don't like how I answer questions. Thank Swendeggy, you know who I'm talking about, right? Oh, yeah, you're in Discord. You would know. But you know what I'm saying? Something... I conclude that. Super chat. Who was that? You didn't have to do that. You a big dog supporter and you proved that. Something is off. I don't know what. Something about it is just off to me. And I don't know, like, the case itself is interesting. It doesn't seem like it was, like, murder. Thank you, K-Rox. But something just hit me as being off. I just don't know what it is. I don't think it's her. I don't think it's the parents. I don't think it's the creator. Something was just off. I just can't put my finger on, like, exactly what it was. It was something. Who was that? You didn't have to do that. You a big dog supporter and you proved it. You can ask any weird question you want. What's up, Garden Grower? I forgot to say hi to everyone. What's up, members, Patreons, former members, former Patreons, future members, future Patreons, and everyone in between. What's your dumb question or weird question? Zan's mom's. Have you seen that? Did you guys see the picture of her? She looks pretty hardcore addict, for real. Thank you, Swin. I'm glad it's not just me. No thanks, Garden Grower. Oh yeah, it's bad. I mean, you can kind of see Xana in her, but you can tell she's in active addiction. And I hate to say it like that, but yeah, she's in active addiction. Oh, you didn't see it? Stoner, it was you that gave it, right? Thank you, Annie. I conclude that. Super chat. Who was that? You didn't have to do that. You a big dog supporter and you proved it. Stoner, it was you that posted it, right, in Discord? Can you repost it now? Can you grab it so I could show everyone? This way I don't have to, like, flip through it. Much appreciated. Just while I'm waiting for Stoner to grab that, thank you. While I'm waiting for Stoner to grab that, I got to tell you guys a funny story. This is how fucking stupid the drama community is and why I left. Okay, let me explain this. Do you guys remember the night where people were accusing, it was the first night we heard Kim, where she called it a trap house and a drug house. And remember I made a joke saying, you know, I did the poll, like, hey guys, do you guys, let's analyze this. Now, are the Idaho 4 like major drug addicts? No, these people are morons. You guys remember that? So these morons, okay, these literal morons in the drama community, like I've seen it like 5 or 6 times now, literally did a live saying how I'm on hardcore drugs based on that poll. I'm like, what are these people talking about? But one of these idiots, I don't know if they only saw like half my stream or walked in at the wrong time, but the poll pissed them off. How dare I make a poll like that? What? Like, were you banged in the head? What the fuck are you talking about? The poll was a spoof on the fucking idiots that said it was a drug house. Hello? I literally saw people posting it, reposting it. I was like, wow. Wow. Isn't that weird? But I'm just saying, like, why don't you find out what the poll was about before you jump to conclusion? And like literally like 6 people ran with it. I was like, wow. Just wow. And they did a whole live about it. I think there was more than one did a whole live about it. I was like, this is why I left the drama community, because they're just too fucking stupid for words. For real. Yeah, I mean, you guys were all here. Anyone that's chatting here, most of you guys were here that night. I have no idea how this got twisted. I was totally making a joke out of it that, you know, Kim was a liar. This wasn't a trap house. This wasn't a drug house. The Idaho 4 are not on drugs. Never thought they were, other than, you know, typical college stuff. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. So yeah, that's why I left the drama community. Why does Anna's name have 2 zeros and a mom's? Huh? I used to do tons of drugs, but like I said to the person that told me, I'm 52 years old. Trust me, I am not fucking doing drugs. They have nothing better. I'm telling you, it was just so weird. I was like, where would you even get this from? But then I realized it once I saw it. Exactly, a trap house? Yeah, okay. All right. Let me just pull this. Now, let me just state, this is not to make fun of her. I'm just showing you guys why she probably hasn't spoken as Anna in a couple of years. Yeah. That's why. She's younger than me. Oh, she was on News Nation? Oh, I didn't know that. She is 43. I mean, you can see Xander in her. You really can. Hey, Coffee. But, yeah. She's in active addiction. Oh, was she? All right, we'll have to watch that, Joy. We'll have to cut regular scheduled programming. I will, Tennessee. Drugs will age you. That is true. I don't know how I didn't get super aged. Because I should look harder than I do, honestly. And I'm not saying I'm like, you know, super light, but yeah, I should look harder than I do. I'm 52. But thank you. I'll take that. But yeah, I'm 52. Just turned it. Plurpy in the house. She's way younger than me. Yeah. Yeah, 43. 5'6", 120. I have a feeling she's probably thinner than 120. I want to get your thoughts on the first 10 minutes of drug. Okay, I'll tell you right now, Swindega, right off the bat, I don't know them personally. I'm not bashing them at all. I'll say this about a lot of creators. I don't understand how so many people watch somebody who talks like this all the time and has no passion in their voice and has no feeling in their voice and doesn't know when to have an inflection in their voice. I don't fucking get it. Tens of thousands of views from, and this is the way we're going to speak, and this is the way we're going to talk, and this is how it is, and this is what, I don't get it. I just don't fucking get it. Like, I get Molly's views. I even get Betty's views. I can understand Dolly's views. They have voice inflections. They have passion. They have, like, something. I don't get how they can say, oh, Lynn, you'll hear in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even care. Like, even if you're a small creator, I've seen small creators with like 10 subs that have more voice inflections. I don't get it. But you'll understand in a minute. So without further ado, let me make this smaller again. Someone no voice there high. No, I don't even think that's high. I don't get it. I mean, obviously a lot of people like it, but I don't get it. And I'm not downing them for it. It's just, it's a personal thing. All right. By the way, one more thing before we start. I thought the Murdoch trial, Carolyn, if you're listening, don't get mad. But I thought the Murdoch trial was doing jury duty yesterday, or they were picking a jury a day or two ago, and now they had opening statements already. I thought opening statements weren't going to start for like 2 weeks or something. Did they really like start opening statements already? And they just picked a jury yesterday? Began today. All right, so I'm not crazy, right? They were doing jury duty 2 days ago or yesterday. Why are we dragging parents of victims into this? Into what? What are we dragging parents of victims into? Why don't you go ask Banfield? Padlock, go ask Banfield that, because she had her on her channel. So go ask Banfield. Bye-bye. Have a good day. I'm sorry, but you're not going to collect, you're not going to collect $200. So have a good day. Jury pick was fun. I didn't think it was going to go this quick. I really didn't. Because they give people 300 questions. Yeah, but usually jury duty, thank you, Blue Jeans, but you're lying. Doesn't jury duty usually last like a week or two or something? Oh, by the way, there's a new thing now. I forgot to tell you guys. This across YouTube. You can no longer see what your moderators do. I don't get it. Thank you, K Smalls. I hope you're better. Thank you. I hope you feel better, K Smalls. I look good. I don't even have like 1 stitch of makeup on. He said happily divorced. That's what I say. I don't know. I just always thought like they do a jury and then they start like a week or two later. I don't think I ever heard it go this fast. Hey, Irish Gal, I don't think I ever heard it go this quick. That's why I was shocked. There you go. Well, Carolyn, maybe if you were where you're supposed to be, you could have told me this morning, hey, by the way, while Phoenix is getting his road test, listen to the Murdoch trial. It's opening statements. So there you go. So it's your fault. So, all right, let's get this started because I'm switching to Banfield and then I'll come back to this. But Banfield, we still got 45 minutes. All right.
Sorry, guys. Full disclosure, y'all. Sometimes I get my words backwards and I get things kind of messed up. I got dyslexia, so I apologize. I know there's been a lot of controversy over one or two words I say, or
Okay, let me just say, Daniel, don't stress over it. I make up my own words. So that's one thing I'll tell you. Creator to creator, fuck up your words, make your own words. When I can't remember a word, I'll just make up a different word and we'll call it a Lauraism. So don't even stress over that. That's my advice.
whatever. Sometimes when I'm thinking, those words come out backwards, and when I'm thinking of a bunch of different names, the same thing happens as well. And so I apologize. I'll get some of these words backwards sometimes. I'll get better at that. Well, anywho, we're going to be talking about Kim, the WSU mom. She's the caller that called in a week ago or so, maybe a little bit longer than that. And basically told us that she had some possible, or was told some information that was close to the case. Since then, that's
Wait, Swim, what did you say? Xana's mom became relevant when her attorney left her that she's had a relationship with for Brian? Oh, yeah, but Swin, by the way, lawyer you know said the exact same thing I said. It's not really a big deal. It's not.
kind of stirred up a lot of controversy. Um,
Jonice in the house. Woo, woo, woo. How you feeling, boo?
she went on Chronicles of Olivia, and you know, it's she said a lot of her speculation. And so today I wanted to explain what we did, how we vetted her, and how we know she is who she is, things of that nature, without disclosing it.
That what I said the other day is that it is not that big of a deal that she left, that she transferred the case because she's a public defender, that she transferred the case to another attorney and went with Brian because one, of a death penalty. She may be one of the top lawyers. I found out she runs the entire public defender thing. So she has that choice if she wants to transfer it or not. Any public defender can transfer a case. It's not a big deal. People are making out like it's conflict of interest. It's not. It's only a conflict of interest if she did both at the same time. But her taking a much bigger, high profile case over a simple drug case is kind of normal. That's what I mean. It's not a big deal. And I said that before Peter did.
Any names or things of that nature. You guys get where I'm going, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So let's start off with the phone call, right? So she called in. She said she had some more information. She'll talk to me off air about it. Uh, After the show ended, I called her back. We proceeded to have a 2-hour conversation about a lot of speculation now and a lot of things that she was told. And so, in order to understand the speculation and things that she was told and to differentiate that, we also have to understand.
Bernice, I agree with that. I don't think so either because I said that the other night that when I had a public defender, I didn't meet him. I met him the day of court and he fucking failed me, but I met him the day of court. Like, it was like nothing.
Who Kim is, right? Kim is a person who is a mom. She has two students.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. She wasn't a power of attorney and still is. She's not going to be someone's power of attorney. She doesn't even know the woman. She was a public defender. She's not going to be someone's power of attorney. Hey, Kiki.
Students or two children that attends the University of WSU, and she's been dealing with um, a lot of stories. For me, probably for Blue and Jaime, Moscow, Idaho was. Did you guys know about it prior to November 13th, 2022?
Nope.
Negative.
Let me know in the live chat, y'all. How many of you guys knew about Moscow, Idaho, and Pullman, Washington prior to November 13th, 2022. Hit one if you knew about it, hit two if you didn't. I kind of want to see how this goes. And so for us, we didn't know about anything she was going through or the things that she's heard, her stories that she's gathered. Now, she has a daughter who attends Greek Row, and she's been a part of the.
All right, I don't want to get too sidetracked with chat because then I won't like hear this. But let me tell you, I could be wrong, and I'm not saying, I don't know. I didn't even see the interview, but I'm gonna give you an overall spectrum idea, kind of. Active addiction. She's mad that now, not active addiction, an active addict. She's mad because Anne left her and she's stuck with someone else. And the person that she's representing killed her daughter. So I would not put it past her to be lying. I'm not saying she is. I have no proof either way. I really don't. I have no proof either way. But on a personal opinion, that's how I see it. Active addiction, you're a liar, you're a hustler, you'll do whatever you can for the ends will justify the means. Your lawyer left you and left you some shitty ass lawyer to fight charges while your lawyer goes and defends the killer who brutally murdered your daughter. I'd be a little pissed too. Legally, she didn't do anything wrong. Anne did nothing wrong legally. Morally, maybe. But I wouldn't put it past Rosanna's mom to lie about that. Just saying. Like I said, I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past her.
A sorority there at WSU for a lot of twos. Was a sorority there for WSU, and she's come back with a lot of stories that we that are from the outside of that community probably aren't aware of. And so, but even before that, how long was Brian on the loose for? It was almost 2 months, right?
Yeah.
All right, so 2 months. There was a massacre that occurred and a person on the loose, right? If you were a parent and your children attended a nearby university, wouldn't you be vested into the situation?
Yeah, very, man. I'll be worried about my kids where they're at. You know what I mean? Or
For
who
sure.
they're going out with.
For sure. And yeah, I mean, I'd be balls deep into that information.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that if you're carrying that information, you're not going to start to speculate on certain things?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, just take for example, all the internet detectives. We all did that.
Yeah, everybody speculates, everybody looks into everything. Now, can two things be right at the same time? Can she be a worried mom looking into this because she has kids that attend that school, and can she also be told information because her kids attend a school nearby?
Yeah.
All right, so we have to make, those things are possible at the same time. And so what we need to do is separate the speculation and the things that she's heard and believed, and put together only the things that she was told. And so that's what we attempted to do with our last video. And we will kind of revisit that right now. So she gave me a bunch of information, right? Now, I took all that information with a grain of salt. I needed to make sure she was who she was. And so we didn't clip out that segment of that video. We didn't promote Kim as a caller. We didn't do any of those things until she gave me, she'd get on the call. She'd given me some names, and I had to verify that those people were, in fact, who they were. She informed me that the person closest to the situation was her one of her daughter's best friends, who was a sister at the sorority that they attend, and they've known each other forever. It was her and her boyfriend, who is a football player for the University of Idaho. Now, she gave me their information. I was able to backtrack through social media everybody that she had spoken to or spoken about, including the relationship between that football player and the friend of her daughter's. I was able.
Spring, are you personal friends with her? Like, are you deeply involved with her, or are you taking this from Banfield? You don't know, and you don't know that I'm wrong. So unless you're personally friends with her and you can produce paperwork or something to show that you're personal friends with her, you don't know that I'm wrong. You're taking a drug addict's word for it. So there's that.
To confirm the friendship between her daughter and that female, and through that also confirm who Kim was. Now,
No, Spring, and that's why I said, let me talk slow, because you're obviously one in the back. Let me talk slow. I said, I could be wrong. I also said, you want me to do sign language too? I also said that I don't know because I don't know either one, and that I haven't even heard it. But this is my opinion. That's what I said. Unlike you, who came in here, you're fucking wrong, Laura. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. There's a difference.
we were talking about how else could we vet her more than that, right? Like, what else could we do? Because we're not part of the case. And so we're not privileged to any other information that anybody else has. So what else could we do to vet her information? We actually recorded a episode that we didn't air, me and Blue, where in there I was like, you know what? I can ask her for the phone records, where she said she contacted the FBI and Moscow Police Department. And sure enough, she was able to deliver, y'all. So let's pull that up real quick. And so this is her Verizon.
Who in the fuck passed judgments? Are you mentally retarded? Like, for real? Go play in traffic and bang your head. Maybe you'll get some sense into yourself, for real. Like, holy shit. I'm not even going to address you morons next time. I'm just going to block you. Boom. I try to be nice. I try to fucking address you with a real answer, and then you still run your mouth. So you know what? You are just like the people at go over to the drama community, because you're just like the fucking idiots that think that I had a poll about drugs and that meant that I thought they were on drugs. You belong over there. Bye-bye.
Bill and I have myself edited this a lot.
Okay, now I saw this earlier. This was something that I saw earlier. Now, here's my question on this, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember, okay, honestly, if I remember, Kim stated on the interview with Lana, now again, correct me if I'm wrong, but she said specifically, she said how she is in touch with the FBI or the police. I don't remember which one. Every single day. Every day. She's in touch with one or the other. She has a direct contact, and maybe I'm not using verbatim, but it was something along those lines. And when I saw this earlier, just to like give a rough, every day, right? All right, so I'm not crazy. I want to make sure like I wasn't crazy, because I'm pretty sure I remember. I know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the R word. I apologize. But she did say that she calls every day. Okay. This is all she had. Now, she's trying to prove who she is. She's trying to prove that her story is true. This is what he got. Now, again, I knew that she wasn't, thank you, Mickey. I knew that she wasn't Megan. After, people compared the voices. I thought maybe she was Kim, that other girl, but then people showed me, no, she wasn't. Yeah, you can. And then I saw this, and I'm like, okay, one, why is everybody backing somebody so hard that they don't even know? I'm sorry, but if someone called into my channel, I mean, granted, I'd probably call them out immediately, but if someone called into my channel and they were kind of sketchy, or people thought they were sketchy, I wouldn't do a whole live defending them, because I don't know them. I don't know who they are. yeah, I'd say a couple things like, guys, if you don't want to believe it, you don't have to believe it, but I believe they're legit. And then I'd move on. Because I don't know them. I've never met them. I've allegedly never spoke to them before this show. Are we besties now? I mean, I understand you don't want to lose a sub, but are we besties? That I'm going to send you my phone bill? I'd be like, I don't need your phone bill. It's okay. This is weird. Totally weird. And she lies.
So for those that are concerned about her not being Kim and not being from the Washington area, this is her name, Kim S. This is a 253 area code. You guys can look that up. I'm sure you will. Origination call, Seattle, Washington. And so she's not from all these other places. Now, we scroll down to November 14th, right here, 208-883-7054. That is, let me find him. Lanier Roger, operations captain for the Moscow Police Department, 208-883-7054. She did contact and gave them her information. It was a brief conversation. Her information through the tip line so that she can get contacted back. And so that's the first one.
So I told Daniel, there's got to be a record on it somewhere in those phone lines. There always is.
Mm-hmm. November 15th at 2:14. You guys can call this number if you like. It's 800-255-5324. That is 1-800-CALL.
I watched it this morning. That was the dumbest thing I ever saw her put out. I love Jules. I respect Jules. I like her. But that was the dumbest thing I ever heard her put out. Those voices were not even remotely close. They didn't have this. The only thing they shared was whatchamacallit, similar accents because they're both from that part of the world. But yeah, they were not even close. I had good headphones on when I was listening to it. I was like, wow. Not even close.
FBI for their tip line. And so, and I didn't say she was from Idaho. I said she was from Washington. Anywho, I see that in the chat there. And so on November 15th at 2:14, she contacted him, spoke to him for 30 minutes and gave him information. Now, I didn't ask, and I won't want the phone records between the cell phone numbers of the individual officers that were assigned to her case. But that is
okay. So Kim spoke about that she has everybody, and she knew this one, and she knew that one, and she knew that one, and she knew this one. Yeah. And that she was in touch with the FBI and the police every damn day. Here's a newsflash. All you need is somebody to sprout a bunch of lies once, and you will never be trusted again. I kind of don't believe that they were involved. I kind of think they were suckered. Because if this person would have called into Betty, would have been listed as a scam. Same thing with Dolly. They've all burned so many bridges that people don't buy it anymore. T-Rev already, had his heyday with Brian's call. They wouldn't go to somebody smart. They wouldn't go to somebody established like 10 to Life, Grizzly, Ictamel. They wouldn't go there because they would have called him out. So where did they go? Creator, who barely got 100 views in a video, who's covering this case, doesn't really know anyone, not really around the community. So who do they force him to? Ding, 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 ding. Here you go. Who the masterminds behind it was? I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I thought the same thing, but I haven't had Verizon since 2016, so I don't know if their online bill has changed. So that's why I didn't really say anything. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think they were targets, I guess you could say. I don't trust her either. Now, what I found earlier, let me just pause this for 1 second. Hold on, I gotta find it first. And I remember hearing about it, but I didn't know who it was from. Hold on. I have so many fucking windows open. Is this that? No. All right, here it is. Okay. So Lana, good old Lana, tried to sue Jay is for Justice for $1 million. Jay is for Justice wish she would have had $1 million. But something to do with Chris Watts. So, yeah, notice woman working alongside killer dad, Chris Watts' family, slaps podcast hosts with $1 million defamation lawsuit. This is Lana. A woman claiming she worked alongside convicted killers Chris Watts' family to help find an attorney to represent him has filed a lawsuit against podcaster. According to court docs, Lana Oriani slapped Jays for Justice, co-hosted true crime podcast Jays for Justice with a suit in Ohio. Oriani claimed while working with Chris Watts' family, she went on Youngblood's radio show to talk about the case. She claimed the two became colleagues and agreed to travel to Denver, Colorado, together to meet and chat with the Watts family, according to the suit. Oriani stated their friendship immediately turned sour, and Youngblood viewed the trip more as a vacation rather than a work trip and flaked on several meetings. Oriani alleged Youngblood swore to the Watts family she would not speak about the efforts to get the murderer out of jail or release any footage of their meetings. Youngblood did agree to promote Oriani's nonprofit she was using to raise money for Chris's attorney on the show, though. After the relationship ended, Cindy Watts, Chris' mom, told Oriani she messed up and Youngblood most likely recorded her and another person. Cindy, in return, feared what retaliation their family would experience if she quit communicating with Jays for Justice. In March of 2021, Youngblood allegedly started to make defamatory statements on social media about Oriani's nonprofit and urged people not to give money, questioning Oriani's efforts on truly trying to help Chris. Why anybody would want to fucking help this woman help that man is beyond me. The suit stated Youngblood claimed Oriani was running a fake website and scammed the Watts family out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. The suit alleged Youngblood even created fake social media accounts to smear Oriani's name and nonprofit. Oriani is claiming the defamatory marks have harmed her reputation and is seeking $1 million in damages. Chris murdered his pregnant wife, Shanann, and their two daughters, Bella and Celeste, at their Colorado home in 2018. Yeah. This is who people are giving views hand over fist to. Hand over fist. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. No, Carolyn. So I just want to put that out there. Just wanted to let everyone know what we're dealing with and why I believe that she could absolutely be involved and be behind it. Just saying. That's my opinion. It was dropped. It was left out of court. And then I think Jay got sued for $10 million from WFLA, if not around the same time. I don't know. Yeah, putting it out there to show that why I think Lana could be behind it. And it's not just Olivia. I really do think JLR's behind it. I think Lana's behind it. I think Olivia's behind it. And I think it's a really sick fucking game. Betty, just look at Betty alone. Betty just said, what, a week or two ago? Just said, I cannot talk to JLR anymore. I don't like the way he treats women. And now she's at the Murdoch trial with him. Which is it? Which is it? He worked with Olivia too much, and I just can't with these people. So, okay, let me go back. But yeah, I was telling you guys that to show you why I believe she's involved.
Is her bill. That is the times in which, right around the time that she said that she contacted.
Yeah, Lana then got sued by, what's her name? Lana then got sued by Unmasked for an undisclosed amount of money. I don't remember how much. For stalking, harassing, obsessing. Yeah, she did that.
The FBI and the Moscow Police Department. And so, outside of calling the FBI and asking them, hey, what did she tell you? She is saying what she said, and she did report what she reported. Mm-hmm. And so, and I see that Chloe's mom, Olivia, did take down her video, and I'm glad you brought that up. So there was a lot of hate behind that. So at this point, when I had interviewed Kim on the phone and we had spoken to her, we spoke to her a second time, and that was the day that we released part 2. We put her on a live stream. We actually have it recorded. That won't be released. That's just for our records because there's a bunch of names and things that are out there. But we recorded that just to make sure that we could go back and listen to exactly what she was saying and when she said it and how she said it, whatever. And after we recorded that, Olivia contacted me, and I didn't know who she was, to be honest with you guys. And so I'll just bring it up. This is Olivia. This is the text message. This was at January 15th. She's like, hey, it's Chronicles of Olivia on YouTube. I was wondering if I could ask you a question regarding your video and your caller. So there was some speculation that's me and Olivia, or us and Olivia had this fake caller call in or whatever, right? We're very new to true crime, and we don't know very many of the other creators. There's a few that we do, and they're usually the bigger ones because that's what YouTube pumps out in front of you. And I'm not saying Olivia is not one of them, but I didn't know who she was. And so she goes, hey, it's Chronicles of Olivia on YouTube. I was wondering if I could ask you a question regarding your video with the caller. I said, yes, what's your question? Thanks for replying. I'm friends with the Gonsalves family. I showed Steve your video. We were wondering what Kim told you after the call was done. And is there any way we can get a hold of her? I would much appreciate it. She will be kept anonymous. Now, I thought this would be an opportunity to get somebody, if she does know the Gonsalves family, because at this point I wasn't aware, and you'll see my reply there in a second. If she does know them and I don't know who she is, she can verify that Kim is who she says she is. And we can also verify how close this person was that told the information to Kim's daughter. And so we'll go further. I go, yeah, we're putting a video out together tonight. I'll ask her. She told us about who was called to the residence before the 911 call. Her daughter knew about the surviving victim seeing more than one person outside the residence, and I'll definitely ask her about giving her info to y'all. I'm sure she won't have an issue. She says, OMG, thank you so much for you're awesome. Thank God for your show and that she reached out to you. I will tell Steve now, and she will contact us. He'll be happy. I said, no problem. Thank you.
Who's Steve? She said, I will tell Steve now that she will contact us. He will be happy. Who's Steve? Anyone know who Steve is? I'm curious.
Wanting to help in any way we can. She goes, we look forward to seeing your video when it drops, and ask her what's the best way to contact her if she wants.
Thank you. I was thinking YouTube. I gotcha. Thank you.
Wants to reach out to me first, and I'll give her my number. This is a huge development. Help. Thank you. And she goes, did she mention blank's name? And I'm going to keep that redacted, and that's because it's important to the case. But if Olivia and Gonsalves family wanted that out, they would put that out themselves. I said, no problem. No, she didn't. I don't want to dox anyone. And I know you're saying, Steve. I don't know that for sure. I'll say this, that she mentioned a JS who's an athlete for the U of I that knows Jack and Adam. Steve may know who she's referring to from that information. And this is what.
Oh my God, Jack Showwater. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. And let me guess, he's still in Africa, right? Jesus Christ.
Where she told me this is the conversation. This is the first time I had seen that.
Stone, that's because I was thinking YouTube. I was thinking like JLR, you know, like I was just thinking of a YouTuber. That's why I wasn't thinking Kaylee's dad.
And here I go. She said, watch part 2. And I said, wow. She said, yeah. I told her, she said, you can contact her. This is her phone number. Her name is Kim. Thank you so much. And so the rest of it is just, yeah, that's when her daughter heard. So she goes, 10 a.m. The kids knew about what happened, waited till 11:58 to call police. Yeah, that's when her daughter heard about the incident. If Steve wants to talk, I'm happy to give him the info I was told in case Kim doesn't answer. Definitely want to confirm if the roommate's boyfriend is as close as they say. I verified as much as I can, but I can only do so much without knowing someone for sure close to the case. And so when we said we did our best and our absolute best to vet everything we could, we definitely did. And then I gave the information to Olivia, who was a person that I didn't know, and for her to also vet it. And she also came to the same agreement that Kim is Kim from Washington, and she does have 2 students that attend WSU, and her daughter is on Greek Row. And so I think we can put all that hate away. And I think if any of you guys were causing a bunch of hate or, you know, this, that, and a third towards Chronicles Olivia, I think you guys owe her an apology. What do you guys think?
Yeah, man. Like she went off the same.
Okay, let me just add. There is 29,686,000 people that go to WSU. So finding a mom that goes there, you have 1 in 29,700 to round it up. Do I think the odds are that 1 out of those 29,000 might be, you know, crazy enough to call on a show? Absolutely not. Could it totally be possible? Absolutely. That doesn't negate the fact that she's full of shit. Even if her kid knew something, she's full of shit. And I'll tell you why. Why? All right, you love your kids as a parent. You love your kids. You want your kids to do, you know, better than you have. You want you want to do the best for your children. Not only would I drag my kids out of there by their fucking heads, but besides that, why would you put your children in danger? If you believe truly that there's a bigger conspiracy going on, political, church and state, whatever rambling she had over and over and over, why would you put your children in harm's way? That's the part I don't get. And that's why I personally think she's full of shit. Because the way she's rambled, it's fine that she's rambled like that. You want to ramble like a moron, go right ahead. It's entertainment. You were entertaining. I won't say she wasn't entertaining, because she was. But at the end of the day, if what you're saying is true, you just totally put your kids in harm's way. Why would you do that? Why would you do that as a mother? I don't get it. WSU Greek Row and Idaho Greek Row are 2 different Greek rows. So that's the other thing I don't understand. She keeps talking it out like it's one big school. It's different fraternities. Different kids go to different schools, different fraternities. So that's where I'm kind of lost with this. Like, okay, so you confirmed that it was her. Okay, you confirm that she lives there. Okay, I get it. I don't have a problem with that. But to say that she's honest when you just showed how she lied is a problem. How'd she find you guys? There's much bigger creators than you guys were when you started this case. You didn't get many views when you started this case. So how'd she find you? Because she knew that you may have called her out. Anyone else would have called her out and said this is bullshit. That's where I stand. She put her daughter in harm's way, and so did all you guys, if you believe her story. If you truly believe her story. Now Jack Showard is involved. Come on, really? If the cops say he's not involved and you have faith in the cops because they arrested Brian pretty quickly, you just put another target on Showalter's back trying to prove that Olivia's not involved or this one's not involved. So now we all know JS is Jack Showalter. Why would you do that? I think that's the problem that myself and my community have with this whole situation. Your quest to prove something about Olivia, maybe you're starstruck because she's friends with Steve Gonzalez. I don't know. But it feels very like you got very personal. Don't get attached to cases. Don't get personally invested in cases. Not a good look for anybody. And I don't know. Something's just not right. I don't know what it is. It's just not right. I can't figure out what it is.
Information we went on. No. It's gonna happen no matter which show it is. We get a lot of hate for things we put out too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching the last live with who was it, Lana?
Mhm.
And there was the chat was wild, man. The chat was wild, and I mean, it's gonna be like that. I guess we should have known, right? That there's gonna be people out there that don't.
Now, let me say this. She could be just some wacko who calls in, and she could be. She really could be. She could just be some wacko. But why defend her so much? Why not just say, I don't know who she is? She just called into my show. I don't know who she is. The phone bills, the sticking up for this, showing that, now making Showalter a target. Why? You don't even know her. You allegedly. You have never even spoken to her. Allegedly. Who fucking cares? Like, honestly, I've said this again, and I'll say it. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Who are we? I'm just another asshole on YouTube. You guys are just another bunch of drunk losers on YouTube. Olivia's just another asshole on YouTube. Another asshole YouTuber. We all are. None of us have legal power. None of us, even the ex-cops don't have legal power. Nobody has legal power to do anything. Nobody has anything. After this case, I'm sure all your views are going to drop down like it happens with every single person whose views skyrocketed from one case. And that's my point. Like, why does it matter? Why are you asking her for phone bills and shit? Just tell your audience, hey, I don't know if she was legit or not, but she was fun. She was like, I just don't get it. I don't get why she said she sends JLR stuff all the time. Exactly. I don't know. Why even bother? Like, I don't know. If someone ever wants to send me phone bills, I'm like, that's okay. You don't need to send me phone bills. I don't know. It's just weird.
Necessarily agree with what we say out here, or
Right.
what our guests say, and we're gonna get hate for that, and it's just gonna have to be thick-skinned,
Well, I'll say this now, because a lot of people were asking whose show was this, and they got mad because I replied to that one comment and not another. We're the Drunk Turkey Show, and we'll have who we want on our show, and we'll go on whatever show that we feel that wants questions for us. We're not going to confirm to anybody or do what people think we should do or say. That's not who we are. We're us, and so we're authentic. And if you guys want somebody that you can like, we had one lady that was going around telling people we lost 2,000 subs. I was like, we were at 24,000 subs, and right now we're at 28,000. If we lost 2,000 in the process of that, then those are 2,000 people that maybe they don't need to be a part of our show. And so, what were you going to say, Blue?
I said we're.
See, that's what it is. They're too new and they don't understand. Like, who cares? You know, I get like proving it. I said it the other night with my own channel. You know, like I get it where you feel like you have to prove that. I would never tell you not to. But don't be so sensitive. People are going to come up with the craziest lies. Address it and move on. That's it.
I like to listen to other people's opinions. So if people don't agree with their opinions, I still like to listen to it.
Yeah.
So sometimes in their opinion, there's a truth in there that I might be able to find some other information out.
Right. And so I want to answer this one real quick. Attention to Generation asked, how long was her call to law enforcement? The one to the Moscow Police Department tip line was 1 minute. She left their information to get a call back. The one with the
That's a good point. If they want to show proof, show the daughter's text that she received at 10:30 a.m. There you go. You're 100% right.
FBI on that occasion was 33 minutes. The other ones that she has are longer, but that's with cell phone numbers of actual agents and Idaho State policemen that I'm not comfortable releasing. And so that's how long those conversations were. But the point is, she contacted the FBI when she said that she contacted the FBI with the information that she said she did.
No, she said that she contacted the FBI every single day and that she had a personal connection with the dude from the FBI. So, yeah, she called him once. I'm sure a lot of people from YouTube who don't even live out there have called the FBI. Just saying. That is not proof.
Now, let's try to get an idea of this place, too, because we talked about, we have to understand who Kim is, right? Why is she fearful from this place? Well, let's talk about, let's talk about it. So this is from the Mirror. This is a couple of years ago, but I think this is some important information. Life taken, I'm going to say that instead of this word, by a professor at the university years before the four friends had the massacre at that we're all aware of. And so, like I mentioned before, and I saw a lot of twos there. We'll do that here in a minute, hon. I saw a lot of twos. Hey, but real quick, are we going to do that tonight?
What's that?
Are we doing that tonight?
No, just
okay. All right. Yeah, then we'll mention that here in a little bit.
Okay. From the 2 seconds that I've seen of this, a professor who was in love with a student got crazy and shot her. What does that have to do? And that wasn't in Moscow. What the fuck does this have to do with the Idaho 4? That's what I want to know. So I'll listen a few more minutes.
Sorry about that, guys, in the private chat. So let's look into this real quick. The university has had grim memories of despair. Professor turned killer who shot a student he was in love with in a tragic MS. All right, this is the guy. Katie Benoit, who passed on August 22nd, 2011 at the age of 22, was a musician and a psychology student from Boise. She was shot in her apartment off campus a few months after her relationship ended with University of Idaho professor Ernesto Bustante, 31, had came to.
Okay, I'm wrong. It was in Idaho. My bad.
And then, according to the affidavit in 2011, Bustante's friend Rowdy Hope told police that Bustante had multiple handguns and multiple personality disorders, including one Bustante calls a psychopathic killer and another Bustante calls the Beast. He was known to have taken medication for bipolar disorder when he was hired by the university in 2007. According to reports at that time, Benoit was warned. Let me rephrase that again. I'm sorry. According to the reports at that time, Benoit has warned the university that the psychology professor had talked about sex orgies with students and shooting them. So the university was aware of this situation, and this is what the university's response was. The university officials could not go to the police because of confidentiality agreements, but are said to have told the students to reach out to authorities about Bustante.
wow.
Thank you, Southern Gal. Okay, I don't believe that. University officials could not go to the police because of confidentiality agreements. I don't believe that at all. I just don't. Banfield's got 5 minutes, but I don't believe that at all. I really, truly don't. Because that's why kids go. Right? There's no way that officials wouldn't be able to go and told the kids that they should report it. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't believe that. I mean, I would have to look into it, but You can't know someone's diagnosis, HIPAA. That's true too. Have fun, Kim. Does anyone think BK could have been a lookout person and kept circling, waiting on them to come out? I have so many questions. Maybe. But I don't know. I'm not buying this. I don't see what this has to do with anything. Like, this was a teacher gone wacko. So is that all they talk about with, is that all they talk about Kim? Because if it is, that's pretty perfect timing. What he said about confidentiality in the article, it says university officials could not go to the police because of confidentiality agreements, but are said to have told students to reach out to the authorities. I don't believe that. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know, but I don't believe that. Yo, I hope AT&T has News Nation. Because that would suck if I give up my current company and don't get News Nation anymore.
And the prosecution objected. He's talking about evidence that's not even. And the prosecution objected. He's talking about evidence that's not even in right now. And he had to stop it. But I think that was important.
You mentioned the defense. Let's play some of the defense here. They focused on some of the gruesome details. That Snapchat video taken by Paul Murdaugh. They say an hour before the murders actually shows a loving father who wouldn't have been capable of brutally killing most of his family just a short time later.
The gases from that shot literally exploded his head like a watermelon hit with a sledgehammer. All that was left was the front of his face. Everything else was gone. His brain exploded out of his head, hit the ceiling in the shed, and dropped to his feet. Horrendous, horrible, butchering. So to find Alec Murdaugh guilty of murdering his son, you're going to have to accept that within an hour of having a extraordinarily bonding, you can see it in the Snapchat.
Who is that? You didn't have to do that. You a big dog supporter and you prove that.
That he executes him in a brutal fashion.
All I'm going to say is look at Chris Watts. He did it. Wow. I hate that you can't fucking pause it. Shit annoys me. You should be able to pause live TV. It's ridiculous. May not sound right, but when the case occurred, there was a statement that they put out. They said they could not go to the police because of confidentiality. It was bizarre, but they did. All right. I guess he popped his head. I guess he popped his son's head like a watermelon, according to that attorney. Thanks, Jason. His son has an audio of a video on his phone that may show Alex was there when mom and son were killed. The defense attorney is an asshole. First name is Richard Longford-Dick. Why is he an asshole? Because he's a good attorney? Like, what makes him an asshole? Yeah, the teacher thing was 2011. Come on. Get rid of you in 2 more days.
Hey, tell you why. I want to tell you about a huge update in Idaho as well. So I'll deal with Murdaugh. I will get you there. I will give you everything that happened in that case. But in the Idaho case today, something happened that I was completely not expecting. I had a conversation with one of the murder victims' mothers. Xana Kernodle's mom spoke with me today, and why that is so important right now, even during a gag order, even while we wait for the next hearing in June on that case involving Bryan Kohberger and 4 first-degree murder charges. Why it's important that Xana's mom, Kara Northington, spoke with me today is because just this week it's been revealed that her lawyer, who's been representing her on all of these different issues that she's had, many of them drug-related, is now the lawyer for the man accused of killing her daughter. Let it sink in. If you already know it, let it sink in again. Because in my business, that's a conflict of interest. In most people's business, that's a conflict of interest. And the person who is most conflicted here perhaps might have considered not taking the case that could be a death penalty case and sticking with the case that was a drug case, but not cutting the drug case out of the loop and not telling her. I think this might be the biggest issue here.
That's a lie. We saw the paperwork. She transferred it.
Here. Xana Kernodle's mom found out about this through social media.
Hey, Des.
And then a friend, let her know about the social media posts.
Hey,
That's
Mike.
how she found out that her lawyer in the last 4 cases, that department, that public defender's department, and this lawyer in particular, Ann Taylor, the way she found out she no longer has that lawyer is through social media. Nobody even told her. They still haven't. And that's not the
Bullshit.
only thing. There's more to what she lost in this entire process. There's a whole other aspect, one that is actually the life-saving aspect for her. Power of attorney. It turns out Ann Taylor, who's now representing the accused murderer, actually had power of attorney over Xana Kernodle's mom. And now that woman has no idea what to do, where to go, or what happens next. She doesn't even know if she has a lawyer. And there could actually be an arrest warrant out for her tonight based on her issues with drugs and addiction.
Fucking lie.
It is a very sad story, but it is also a very serious story because we don't know.
Guys, this is all a lie, and I'm going to explain it. This is a total fucking lie. Total lie. It's not true. It's a total lie that she didn't know, and I'm going to explain all of it at a commercial, I promise.
Oh my, having a problem with that tape. Oh, I'm so sorry. Just as I got to the best part of that. Okay, so while we get that tape organized, I do want to let you know a couple of things. There have been conflicts of interest with attorneys for far less than this. I mean, let me give you an example. If you think that perhaps some point you want to divorce your spouse and you have a conversation with a couple of lawyers, your spouse can no longer retain any of those lawyers just because you had a conversation. So this woman, Kara Northington, whose daughter was violently murdered in Idaho, one of the Idaho 4, those 4 students killed in Moscow at the University of Idaho, she is now facing the reality that the person she trusted most with 4 of her cases is now representing her daughter's accused killer. Here's that conversation.
So, Kara, what was your first reaction when you learned that your former attorney is representing the man accused of killing your daughter?
I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken because I trusted her. She pretended that she was wanting to help me, and to find that out that she's representing him, I can't even convey how betrayed I feel.
Have you had a chance to speak with her about this?
No, I haven't spoken with her. I found out through a friend who found it on Reddit. So,
You found out through a friend through social media. You weren't notified by Ann Taylor, your attorney, herself?
Right now.
And have you tried to reach out to her?
No, I just found out today, literally. So, yeah.
So, I mean, just so many thoughts. It's so incredible that there is this connection. Are you going to try to fight this at all?
Well, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Because as I understand it, this would require a waiver, something that you sign and that he would sign in order for her to go ahead and be able to do this legitimately. I can imagine the way your reaction is that you are not interested in signing a waiver to allow her to continue on.
Right, exactly. And I'd already given her power of attorney. I'd already signed over power of attorney so that she could help me with getting into rehab and whatnot. And so, I mean, I don't understand how she could do this. I don't understand what happens now. Does she still have power of attorney, or what goes on now?
And no one has reached out to you from the public defender's office to help you navigate next steps?
No.
Have you been in communication with the police and prosecutors about the next step in this process and where you might fit in?
No.
And do you want that? Do you want to be in communication with them to understand what's happening and what they're going to be doing as they move forward in prosecuting him?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So no one has reached out to you?
No. Not the prosecutors anyway, no.
Who have you spoken with?
I've honestly, just media has been getting a hold of me.
Do you feel like you're being left out of this process?
A little bit, yeah.
Had you ever heard the name Bryan Kohberger before?
No, I have not, no.
And do you know of any connection at all that he might have had with your daughter, Xana?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine that she had any connection with him. He's quite a bit older than all of them, and all of their friends, really. I mean, they didn't really hang out with a lot of older people. So I don't know if they knew him, or, I mean, they could have, because he did attend school at WSU, which is another thing. My oldest daughter, Jasmine, attends school at WSU. And so the fact that the law enforcement knew who he was from the get-go and didn't warn us to keep Jasmine home from school, that just, I'm just beside myself.
And Jasmine was at WSU for the whole 7-week period.
Yes.
From the murders to the arrest. She was there the whole time.
Yes.
What's her reaction to this been?
I haven't spoken with her about it yet, but I mean, I can only imagine, you know. She was adamant about going to school. She wasn't going to let this keep her from going to school. But I think it would have been different had she known that Xana's killer was going to school with her.
From what you know, no connection that you know of anyway, but between Kohberger and Xana. Do you think it's possible that he may have connected with Xana and Maddie through the Mad Greek restaurant where they worked?
That is a possibility. I mean, I'm sure they connected with a lot of people that way, and that could very well be how they connected with him, if in fact they did connect with him.
And what about just the details? That there's so many missing details, so much mystery still surrounding what happened, you know, in that house. Right. And the 2 surviving roommates. Have you had a chance at all to speak with the 2 surviving roommates about what they witnessed, at least in the middle of the night and the next morning?
No, I haven't got to speak with them at all. So yeah, there is a lot of questions.
What about the other family members of the other kids? Have you had a chance to talk to them?
No. No.
Is that something you'd like to pursue?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I haven't yet. I mean, I wouldn't mind speaking with them.
How are you managing?
I have my friends around me, and honestly, I watch a lot of Xana's TikTok videos, and that helps. But yeah, I mean, I'm managing as best as you can, you know.
Is there something you can tell us about Xana, the girl you knew?
Xana was tough. She was strong. She was funny. She just couldn't make you smile no matter what. And she just had a quirkiness about her that not a lot of people possess, that kind of talent to be able to light up a room like she did.
I feel like I see that in her social media. I didn't have the luxury of meeting Xana, but I feel like just looking at her social media, there's such a carefree spirit. And she definitely looks like she had a real tinge of being the comedian, you know, in the room. Did I catch her right? Did I describe her right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think you can see from her TikToks, you know, just how funny she was and how carefree and just funny. She was funny.
Are you going to be okay moving through this process? It could take years in order to see justice finally arrive. Are you going to be all right?
Yeah, I think I will be. I mean, I hope so. I just got to take it one day at a time, and I don't think I'll ever get over losing one of my children. That will never go away. You know, I don't think that the grief ever gets any better, really. I just think that she would want all of us to live our best life and remember the good things about her.
That is Kara Northington, the mother of Xana Kernodle, speaking with us exclusively tonight here at News Nation. And I also asked her a few questions about what she wanted to see happen to Bryan Kohberger, what kind of punishment she would like to see if, in fact, he is convicted of this quadruple murder. And her answer was, I would say, stunning. Tomorrow night, you're going to hear the second part of that interview, including that answer. But some fascinating insight into this case and where she stands at this point. I want to bring in Mark Garagos. He's the trial attorney, criminal defense attorney, also co-host of the podcast Beyond a Reasonable Doubt with Adam Carolla. Also with me tonight is Dave Ehrenberg, who's a state attorney in Palm Beach County. And I'll tell you what, it's always good to have a prosecutor because we don't often get prosecutors. So honestly, Dave, I love it when you join us. I'd like to start, though, with you, Garagos, as the defense attorney. What am I not seeing here? Because to me, this looks cut and dry, the worst conflict of interest perhaps I may have ever seen.
Well, I don't know if it's the worst I've ever seen, but I'm a little taken aback by the fact that she says she didn't know about it. Clearly the rules there call for her to give consent, or at least to be told about it before it's happening, not to find out about it on social media.
Thank you.
I understand. I'm trying to give the public defender the benefit of the doubt that they have a limited pool of death penalty defenders, and that this is a publicly paid for defense, and therefore she was next up, and that's why she took it. She found out that there was a conflict and figures that the public defender is fungible. I not for a minute pretend to be a expert on the ethics in Idaho, but I will tell you that it would appear to me, at least, that the judge and or the prosecutor are going to ask for a hearing. And there's a U.S. Supreme Court case that's fairly on point. It generally happens when you have one lawyer and more than one defendant, but the logic behind it would apply to this situation. Presumably, the woman you just interviewed will or potentially will be a witness in Bryan's trial. If that's the case, how does this lawyer who formerly represented her cross-examine her? So they're going to do something where they would have a hearing. They will see whether or not there was consent. One of the remedies obviously, that you're intimating is that she would have to step aside. Another remedy, and I've seen this in certain cases, is where they say, okay, we're going to leave you on this case. However, you're going to have somebody come in and cross-examine your former client if your former client takes the stand, because we're going to find that there's not a conflict.
So, okay, but look, we've just heard the real world implications. Before tonight and hearing from Kara Northington, this was a technical story, a conflict of interest. It was a lot of legalese. But now you've heard the real world implications of what this meant to this woman. She is absolutely dumbstruck by this. She feels betrayed. This was her lawyer. This was her power of attorney, she said. This was the person who helped her get in and out of rehab. She's had a massive struggle with drug addiction. And then on top of that, I'm going to go there. The defendant in this case has the presumption of innocence, and he has the right to a fulsome defense. How exactly is he supposed to trust the lawyer who spent all this time with the murder victim's mom? So, Dave Ehrenberg, I'm going to let you have a crack at that, because I believe that you have the right to not just an attorney. You have the right to a fair attorney. Not an attorney who has been spending a lot of time with a woman who needed her so badly, and now her daughter is allegedly your murder victim.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking. It's like victimizing her yet again. You know, I think it's because it's a small community, and Mark's right. I mean, small communities, these things, I guess, would happen. But I would think that the prosecutor would go to the judge and say, no, there's a conflict here. I mean, after all, what kind of information does this lawyer have based on his representing the mother that could compromise his ability to work on this case? And so this is something that the court is going to have to decide. I suspect they will do, as Mark said, either conflict him out of the case or build a wall and bring someone else on. But the problem is, because this is such a small community, there are not a lot of lawyers to choose from. And that's why this kind of thing happened. It would never happen in my home community of Palm Beach County. There is so many lawyers, you can't trip over, you can't walk without tripping over one. So I think it's because it's a small community. And I think ultimately there will be a limitation at the very least on this lawyer's ability to represent Mr. Kohberger.
So I'll tell you what,
Well, I'll tell you,
I do want to
Ashley-
give you some context. Garagos, this is critical, because you guys have both touched on this, about how small Idaho, and in particular North Idaho, are. We do know that Ann Taylor, who is this lawyer, she is one of 13, just 13 public defenders in the state of Idaho who are approved to lead a capital punishment case. We don't know that this is a death penalty case yet, but it very well could be. And she is one of only 13. She's only one in North Idaho. But Garagos, what I'd like you to touch on with that as the context is that if it is a death penalty case, surely this could be raised on appeal. Surely he could have, if there's a guilty verdict and a death penalty sentence rendered, surely he could come back and say, ineffective assistance of counsel. That woman who represented me had a particular relationship with the victim's mother.
Let me predict exactly, and you took the thought right out of my head, Ashley. That's what's called a 2255, which is a post-conviction writ of habeas corpus. And if he is convicted, one of the things that he would argue, if there is no hearing done and if he does not give a knowing waiver, is he's going to, I can predict what he would say. He would say, look, this woman, obviously, her daughter was murdered. She herself has got drug problems. There were all kinds of rumors about these raging parties at the house where the daughter was murdered. There are rumors that have been circulating about drugs. And my lawyer didn't pursue any of that because my lawyer was conflicted. And that made my lawyer ineffective as a matter of law, and I'm going to file a writ in order to overturn my conviction. That is one of the reasons why the judge, and I'm surprised the prosecutor hasn't filed paperwork yet.
I am too.
You know,
I'm too. We could have started this process on January 5th. January 5th is when she came to court and dropped off the other case. Make it quick. I got to get to break, and I'm going to come back with you, though.
I'm just going to say, who's prosecuting her in her 4 drug cases? That's a question I'd want to know.
That's fascinating too. Okay, so listen, that was the technical part of what sort of came out of the blue to Kara Northington. But then there's this other side, gentlemen, and that is the emotional side, right? Because, again, she just lost her daughter in the worst imaginable way, right? And now her mother's opening up about what it was like actually laying eyes on Bryan Kohberger for the first time when he walked into court.
Why did he take these kids? Why?
More of my exclusive interview with Kara Northington next, and some analysis from two of the top lawyers in the business.
Okay, so let me make this quick. Coffin Doffer Mickey said the exact same thing I said the other day, but I'm not Coffin Doffer. I'm not an ex-FBI agent, so nobody listens to me. But I said the exact same thing that Coffender said, and I explained it. Not much different than she did. And I haven't seen it, but from things that I'm seeing. All right, I gotta, hey, Nan, I gotta touch this. I gotta explain this the right way, or it's gonna come out wrong. So I gotta continue my thoughts. Xana's mom is extremely unwell. Extremely unwell. Drug addiction and the police and the system sees her as a drug addict. And from the looks of her, her drug addiction has taken her to places that she may not come back from. She is fighting the most horrible, horrific disease that anybody could fight. And it looks like she's been fighting it for a long time. This is her fourth time fighting this in court, which means, according to the courts, nothing has changed. What I did read while we were on hold is that a power of attorney in Idaho is not given to a specific attorney. It's given to an office of attorneys. Because what if, they both died at the same time? Who would take care of it? It's always done as a whole. Public defender itself, especially if you're not paying, can't actually be a public power of attorney. The office is a power of attorney. The judge makes the office the power of attorney. So I read that real quickly, but I'm pretty sure I read that right. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read that right. So all right, so you're upset. It's generally given to the office. Okay. So she didn't have a power of attorney specifically. And I find it hard to believe that anyone would take on a power of attorney for that, because what does Anna's mom really have? I mean, I'm sure she has nothing. As far as wanting a babysitter, and I say a babysitter because if you're not changing your addiction, you're not helping yourself 4 times now. And I think Mark Aragos, I don't know him, but I think he was asking who's prosecuting her. Like, let the woman go. Fucking her daughter was just massacred. And they arrested her a couple of days later, which I think that's why he asked who's prosecuting. That's the impression I got. Yeah, Taylor is the head of I went through that the other day. Taylor's the head of the public defender's office. It is a struggle. When you get that bad, that's a big, big struggle. So it's a hard struggle, but what I didn't see over emotions for her daughter. Granted, nobody wants to ever lose a child. Doesn't matter who you are. Hold on.
Prosecutor Dave Ehrenberg. And before the break, if you missed it, we were talking about Xana Kernodle's mother. Xana Kernodle, the victim, one of the 4 victims in the Idaho murders. Her lawyer, it turns out, is now Bryan Kohberger's lawyer, the accused in this case. And she was dropped. And so the conflict of interest is pretty palpable here. But there was more to the interview. And guys, I want you to watch along with me if you could, because I asked her a couple of questions about some of the things that she's seen online. Accounts, social media accounts that were detailing all sorts of things that were very accurate about the murder well before we ever read them in an affidavit. And it is thought that they could have actually belonged to the accused murderer. She also talked about how much she misses her daughter, again, the human side of.
She hasn't seen her daughter in years. Years, I heard. I heard she missed a lot of court days, but I don't know for sure.
All of this. And then I asked her what it was like for her when she first laid eyes on Bryan Kohberger in the courtroom. And here again, my conversation with Kara Northington, Xana Kernodle's mother.
What are your thoughts about what's developed in the arrest of that man and the killing of your daughter and her friends?
Well, I'm glad they arrested him. I'm really glad. I just, it's all been so much. I have a lot of feelings of really bad feelings toward him, obviously. And I don't know what to make of it all. And then I hear, I watch social media all the time, and I see a lot of things, and I see how he's trying to say he's innocent and things like that, and that just, it breaks my heart. But there's no remorse there. There's no anything. They have talk about him maybe wanting to pin it on somebody else. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of things, a lot of factors that are in play.
Can you tell me what your first thoughts were when you saw Bryan Kohberger in court for the first time?
I just can't believe that there is somebody like him out there that can do this, that is capable of doing such a monstrous thing, killing 4 beautiful kids. I see no remorse. I see nothing.
If you were able to say something to Bryan Kohberger, what message would you want to send?
I just want to know why. I just want to know why. Why did he do this? Why did he take these kids? Why? What did they do to him? Because I can't imagine them doing anything that deserved for him to murder them.
In the social media channels after the murders, there were so many discussion groups, and in some of those on Facebook and on Reddit, there were some curious accounts. One by the name of Papa Roger, the other one by the name of Inside Looking, and those 2 accounts seem, by many estimations, to be leading to possibly being Bryan Kohberger actually discussing the groups themselves. I wanted to get your thoughts about some of the things that those accounts posted right after the murders and for the 7 weeks until they stopped posting after the arrest.
Yeah, I actually did see that because I am a part of one of the Facebook groups that had him in it. And that was shocking. That was absolutely shocking. I had no idea that he was trolling the chat groups like that. That was absolutely shocking to me.
And when you look back at some of the things that he said, which back then people would have just guessed as, theories, now finding out more information since the court hearings, much of what was said in those chat groups actually seems to line up, at least with the early evidence. What does that feel to you, like knowing that these things were being discussed almost in real time?
Oh, it's creepy. Very creepy. Very. I mean, I think it shows what a sick-minded person that we're dealing with. You know, somebody that can do something like this has got to be very sick in the head. And I think that it just really kind of shows what kind of person we're dealing with. This is somebody who doesn't have any remorse. It's a game to him. That's what I feel like. It's a game he's playing. And this is not a game. This is real life. And it makes me really sick.
Kara Northington speaking exclusively to us just within the last few hours. And as I said, I asked her her thoughts about the death penalty and what she'd like to see happen to bryankohberger if he's convicted. And she's going to tell you that out of her own mouth, her own words, tomorrow night when we continue part 2 of that interview. I want to ask you, Dave Ehrenberg, about the parent process, because everything I asked her, she felt like she was an island. She felt so alone in all of this. And I just know that's not the way it works. How do you suppose she has slipped through the cracks and has just not been apprised of anything as they have continued through this case?
Ashley, prosecutors' offices have victim witness
lies.
coordinators, and they're supposed to keep the witnesses and the victims, the families, up to date on what's going on. Hold their hand. Be part-time therapists. You should never have a situation like this. And, you know, she's being victimized another time. And this is why people hate lawyers, because you think they're on your side and then they switch sides. It's up to the court to make this right. I believe they will do what's right in the end, because no one wants a verdict in this case to be overturned on appeal.
Agreed. And no one wants to see someone in such distress. You know, by her own admission, she has struggled with addiction. She even trusted this attorney, this public defender of hers, to be her power of attorney, and that was cut off without her knowing. She doesn't even know who her power of attorney is right now. So here's the other part, Garagos, that I don't know how this is going to shake out. But Ann Taylor, her lawyer, former lawyer, is also the chief public defender. So presumably, and maybe you can disabuse me of this, she would be assigning the next defender if, in fact, she's kicked off the case. I mean, there's so much that doesn't make sense. She's in charge of everything that's supposed to be the remedy.
Well, if it would be presumably her office, which would be conflicted out. The public defender's offices, for instance, in Los Angeles, where you've got a multiple, an exponential multiple of number of lawyers, the whole office would be conflicted out, and you would go what used to be the alternate public defender or indigent panel. Look, I don't want to pile on here, Ashley, but you've got a mother who's gone through one of the worst things. I can't imagine anything like this, but the idea that he's showing no remorse, he's presumed innocent, he hasn't had a probable cause proceeding. Let's let it play out before we start sentencing him to death, and let's let it play out, and let's see what happens, and what the lawyer has to say. I'm not so
to your point, I think you're right.
To jump onto the bandwagon yet.
Garagos, I said it before. I'm going to say it again. He deserves a fulsome defense as well. And so I think this is twofold, the problem with this public defender. And by the way, I'm going to go on record saying some of the best attorneys in this country are public defenders. I go ballistic when I hear people say, oh, it's a public defender, it's not that great. No, that's not true at all. Some of the greatest defenders in this country are public defenders. Especially
in death penalty or capital cases. I mean, there's very few lawyers, private lawyers, that rise to that level. And, as long as we're piling on lawyers here, I'll go back to the question I asked you before. Who's prosecuting this woman? Who's the office that's prosecuting her? Because if it's the same office, then maybe we know why, to Dave's point, why the victim witness coordinator hasn't gotten engaged.
Well, I don't think it's the same one. She's in a different area. And this public defender's from Kootenai County, which is not the same as where Moscow is. But like you said, maybe they'll be conflicted out completely. I have to leave it there. But thank you, Mark Garagos. And thank you, Dave Ehrenberg, for helping me sort through this. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
Have you both back and very soon at that. It has been said that you can win or lose a case, a trial, right in the opening statements. And for that matter, Alex Murdaugh was paying a real close attention today to the openings, to the prosecutors who want to put him away for life, for murder. And maybe he was paying even closer attention to his own lawyers who are trying to save his skin. So who put on the better?
Okay, let me say this now. As I was saying before about her being on drugs and that she's very unwell, my former addicts in here have my back on this because people who weren't addicts may not understand. I know you guys will right there with me. You're going to understand. As sick as she is, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse to, like, the way the law sees it, that's not an excuse to get high again. It's not an excuse for all the excuses that she has. Active addiction makes excuses. The rest of the world doesn't need to accept it because all they are is excuses. You ask an addict, they can tell you every single thing, every reason why they're the way they are, and they'll come up with an excuse for everything, and they'll come up with an excuse for this and that. But if she really wants to honor her daughter, she'd be in rehab right now. She wouldn't have her jaw going 100 miles an hour on a Banfield. So that's where the excuse, that's where the excuses, I can't give merit to. On the flip side of that, not on the flip side, kind of on the same side of that, if she was not locked up in prison, and even in prison you get TV, she knew that Ann Taylor was representing Brian. It has been all over the news. It has been in every fucking newspaper. It has been across state lines. It is worldwide from the very first day that Ann Taylor took on that case. It has been everywhere. She has been written up in every major publication. She has been on News Nation. She has been everywhere. So for her to say that she learned about it on social media tells me two things. One, tells me that she doesn't even fucking follow the case, and she doesn't know what's going on with Brian because she's too busy getting high. Or two, she's completely full of shit. Which answer that is, I don't know. And I may never know. But the fact that, one, she's not in rehab. Two, she is just making excuse after excuse after excuse. She's lying because she's saying that she didn't know, and unless she's living under a rock or somewhere in Guam, and I'm sure the Guam people know too, or hiking in the Appalachian Mountains without any coverage, you would not, there's no way you couldn't know unless you're not following the case. So if you're not following your own daughter's case, then I don't feel bad for you. So that's where my dilemma lies, and that's what I was holding from saying anything for a while now. Tells me she doesn't have an address or a phone. And Swendega, you could be right, but how was she on Banfield? She was on a phone. And believe me, most addicts have phones. Believe me, they have a phone. Otherwise, they can't get a hold of their dealer. So I'm not buying it. I think she's lying. Either that or she's just not following the case at all. I mean, that's possible. But either way, she has a phone. She's lying. She definitely knew. I don't believe her. She has social media. She has a phone. I agree. If you wanted to fight for her daughter and be there in the courtroom, fight for justice, she would have turned herself in and got this taken care of. I agree. And again, she's obviously very sick. Oh, absolutely no way. You could see her mouth was going a bunch of times. She lost most of her teeth. It looks pretty bad. I mean, she's a very sick woman. No doubt about that. Yeah, she saw him in court. If she saw him in court, then she knew Ann Taylor was the
trial for murdering his wife and his kid in South Carolina's Low Country. And it is a barn burner of a trial. When details come in, you're probably going to, try to scrape your tongue off the floor because it's crazy. The whole case is crazy. But it is off.
Yeah, if she saw him in court, then she knows that Ann Taylor was the attorney, so she's a liar.
In that room, the South Carolina folks who were all picked and finalized and actually listened to the prosecutor and the defense attorneys as they laid out their roadmap for the case. But if I were sitting in that jury box, I think that prosecutor's got an uphill battle. Prosecutor did drop a few nuggets today, stuff we'd never heard before. And that's why Brian Enton is live with me now, our senior national correspondent, who is an ace at this kind of stuff and has listened to every moment of what happened in the courtroom. You don't have to weigh in on that because you're a reporter. But I'm going to tell you right now, either those were amazing jazz hands by the defense attorney or the prosecutor just didn't bring enough for me to believe that a man would take a gun to his own son's head and then his wife. It just wasn't strong enough. And yet I thought the defense was pretty strong. Tell me the stuff that we learned we didn't know.
Yeah, there were a few interesting new things that came out from the prosecutor in his opening statements. First of all, gun residue. We knew that it existed, but he says that it was found in various places, including inside a rain jacket. He says that belonged to Alec Murdaugh. He says that's going to be an important part of the case. Also, that Paul was shot before Maggie. Paul, Alec's son, was shot before his wife. That is something new. And this cell phone evidence, the prosecution claims that they were able to ping Alec Murdaugh and actually trace him to the murder scene. It's going to be interesting the way all of that plays out when they start to really present all of the details. They also spoke in really graphic detail, both sides, about how brutal these killings were. Listen to the prosecutor in openings.
The evidence is going to show it was a 1,000,000-to-1 shot. He could have survived that, but after that, another shot went up under his head and did catastrophic damage to his brain and his head. The evidence is going to show that Paul collapsed right outside that feed room. And just moments later, he picked up a .300 Blackout, which is a type of ammunition, but an AR-style rifle. And the evidence is going to show that the family had multiple weapons throughout the property, picked up that .300 Blackout rifle, and opened fire on his wife, Maggie, just feet away near some sheds that used to be a hangar.
The defense, of course, then went on to talk for about 30 minutes and tell the jury also about how brutal the killings were, but trying to make the point that how could a father do something like that, something so brutal. Ashley?
Well, and you know what? When the defense attorney, Dick Harpootlian, did his South Carolina courtroom presentation, it was like, it's going to be a movie. It's got to be. I was wondering, because we're not allowed to look at the jury, right? If you're watching on TV, you're not allowed to see the jury, but reporters can. Any read on how they took in the story from the prosecutor versus how they took in the story from the defense?
It's a good question. To us, they appear to be paying very, very close attention. We didn't get a sense of them sort of getting a feeling one way or the other. I mean, it was interesting. They were pretty short. I mean, I thought the openings would go longer. Each side spoke for like a little less than 30 minutes, so it wasn't a really, really long time. They paid close attention. It was over. They let them go early, and then testimony will start tomorrow.
I hadn't even got my lunch. This has happened so fast. The jury was picked faster than I thought. The openings were faster than I thought. Brian, let me bring another friend into the conversation. Nima Rahmani is a former federal prosecutor, also president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers. And Nima, I wanted to get your read as well, because I just love openings and closings. I like the testimony phase and evidence phase, but I really love openings and closings. And as openings go, I feel like Dick Harpootlian just gets it, right? I just think he gets who he was talking to. He gets the South Carolina courtroom. He gets this community, the Low Country. And I feel like he laid out a case that made sense. And his client cried while he described the horrible injuries to his client's son. And to me, that meant a lot. Is it just me because I'm too into trials and maybe the jurors aren't?
No, Ashley, it's not just you. The defense has the advantage, and cases are won or lost on opening. And today, the defense won, and this is why. I mean, a lot of the evidence that we were waiting to hear, the Snapchat video, that helps the defense, the lack of blood splatter, the forensic, even the cell site evidence. So I really was hoping that the prosecution would come out strong. I'm a former prosecutor. I think he did it, but it doesn't matter what I think. It's what the prosecution can prove.
It's true. And then there was one weird thing, and maybe, Brian, you can help us understand what happened. You know, you don't like to interrupt openings or closings, and you don't like to do any objections either. There was that, both. There was an objection and an interruption. I'm more interested in the interruption. The judge actually left the courtroom in the middle. I think it was like midway through the prosecutor's opening. Do you have any idea what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, that is such a good question. And that was one of the #1 questions today I saw on Twitter. We don't know. It seemed like perhaps someone handed him a note. He was gone just for a couple of minutes. I don't think they officially even took a recess. He just said, hold on a minute, left, came back in and started up again. But there were even some lawyers in the courtroom sitting just watching who said they'd never seen that happen ever before.
All right, so Nima, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because mood, impression, what feels right, what doesn't feel right is often how a juror will make a decision, right? A gut check. And to that end, both of these attorneys were after that. Number one, because the body cam is going to be played tomorrow, and I can't wait for that. And it's going to show the demeanor of Alex Murdaugh when the police first arrived. And, you know, they're going to suggest, the prosecutors are going to suggest that ain't right. That just ain't right for a guy who just lost his wife and kid, right? Just discovered them dead. But the defense has already said in this courtroom to this jury, you know what? He had just lost his wife and his kids. And these guys show up. The cops show up with a body cam. He's already grabbed a rifle in case the killer's still around. And immediately he feels like they think he did it. He thinks they think right away he's the killer. So how would you act? Is that brilliant, or is that par for the course, the way the defense attorneys sort of made sure that they had that in their head before they see the body cam?
Ashley, it's really defense lawyering 101. It's a rush to judgment, attack the investigating officers, right? And the defense seems to like that 911 video and that 911 recording and the video because they talked about it a lot during opening. They said, you know, they find Alex Murdaugh, he can't even load his weapon, right? Even though he's an avid hunter. So I think the defense has done a good job painting Alex Murdaugh as a widower, someone who has lost his wife and his oldest son, right? Whereas if you're the prosecution, you want to dirty him up. You want to focus on those financial crimes, show that he's a liar and a cheat. And I don't think they did a good job doing that today because that's their whole motive for this, right? They're saying that Alex did this to gain sympathy and draw attention to a hearing that was just going to happen in a few days, that was going to expose him and subject him to financial ruin.
Yeah, I just thought there was going to be a whole lot more coming, and I didn't get it. I thought there'd be so much more to that motive. You don't have to prove motive, but jurors want it. They want to connect that dot. Okay, I got to leave it there. Brian Entin, thank you, and Nima Rahmani, thank you. I hope you'll come back again.
Thanks.
All right. So after the break, the prosecution gets to go first, but the defense sure came back.
I'm telling you, many trials I've streamed for hours, and I'm talking like I'd sit here for like 8 hours for like a week straight. I think maybe I'd get like 3 subs out of it and like 40 people. That's it, the whole time. Johnny Depp trial, all these people had hundreds of thousands of people in their lives. We had like 30. I was like, you know what? This is just not worth it for me. I'm giving up all my days for nothing. So, yeah. That's why I stopped doing trials. Capone, you were never even in there. Locals here 50-50 that he will get off because of the Murdaugh poll, but we all think he's guilty. Yeah, we watched every day. We watched Johnny Depp 2 every day. But I was like, this is crazy. I'm sitting here like, this is pointless. I'm giving up every single day. This is pointless. You were for a minute? So, yeah. I'm surprised I don't know more about this case, though. You don't love us enough. Yeah. No, because what happened was then I sit here and talk to you guys and I really get nothing done. She trespassed on that private property and videotaped it. Who? Yarn, you missed Jonice. She was here before. I thought of you. Hey, Lindsay. I watched that one trial. You were here every day? That guy that was her. Oh my God. Remember that? He got off, thankfully. I forgot his name, but he got off. The horse guy, right? Don't promote her, Crystal. Nah, I'm just playing. You can't promote her. I sent the name to you on Twitter DM. I will not say it in here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't know this case. I really don't. She had so much surgery, she doesn't even look like her anymore. Like Marie, you should have not done so much plastic surgery because you changed your whole face. You don't even look like you with your fake ass hair. See, I don't think she is, no way. And the only reason I say that, too many dumb questions. That's true because I have you blocked. I forgot his name too. Yeah, the horse dude. I learned everything on 6 videos. It's fast. Oh, did you, Swan? All right. What's the guy's name? Eric what? I was going to go through the chat later, but since you said it again. What was the name? Eric? Hey, sassy sinner. Carolyn, you doxed yourself, you know. No, not him. The channel she was talking about. BHB left. She's in Savannah. Oh, no shit. He looks like Rodney Dangerfield. Doesn't he? Michael Barristone, yes. Hey, Mama Bear. Mama Bear, you're not green. No, Swindegger gave me a channel. I forgot the channel. Eric something. Yeah, you're green. Yeah, you doxed yourself. I'll tell you later. Eric Allen, thank you. Yeah, why is she back in Savannah?
Rumor too. And it takes a special breed to overcome ugly evidence and bad facts in a murder case against your client. But what a performance today. Not only was he great on his feet, he seemed to have some pretty good explanations for why his client, Alex Murdaugh, might look guilty, which he says is exactly what investigators had decided from the get-go.
It is our honor to represent Alec Murdaugh. Now stand up. This is Alec Murdaugh. And Alec was the loving father of Paul and the loving husband of Maggie. And the gases from that shot literally exploded his head like a watermelon hit with a sledgehammer. All that was left was the front of his face. Everything else was gone. His brain exploded out of his head, hit the ceiling in the shed, and dropped to his feet. To find Alec Murdaugh guilty of murdering his son, you're going to have to accept that within an hour of having a extraordinarily bonding, you can see it in the Snapchat, that he executes him in a brutal fashion. Not believable. And when I say butchered, you're going to see these photographs. When I see them now, after having seen them for the last 4 or 5 months, it still shocks me. It still is tough to look at. It still bothers me. And he comes home and finds his son laying in his own blood with his brain laying at his feet, shot to hell.
That's some powerful stuff. So I need some powerful players. And for that, I bring in Mark O'Mara, one of my favorite trial attorneys, and Joellen Demetrius, who's one of my favorite jury consultants. Welcome to both of you. I'm going to start with you, Joellen, if I can. That whole business about stand up. It is an honor to represent Alex Murdaugh. Alex, stand up. I haven't seen that play, but I want to know what you think a jury would think of that.
I see that done all the time. That is done by defense attorneys to show, I have no fear of this man. In fact, he's a friend. In fact, I'm calling him Al. You know, this is Al. This is my friend. This is somebody who would never do anything like that. The bottom line for this jury ultimately will be to sort through all of the acting, and quite a bit of it is acting, and to look at the actual evidence and to try to piece together what actually did happen.
Right, and that's key. So we're getting into that as we move into the evidentiary phase tomorrow. So, Mark O'Mara, I was profoundly affected by Alex Murdaugh weeping while his defense attorney explained the graphic injuries to his son and then to his son's mother, his wife. He didn't weep when the prosecutor described it, but the prosecutor didn't have that flair. He didn't just go all in on the graphic nature of these injuries. It's important, isn't it, to see the human nature of this father crying when he's hearing about his son's head exploding like a watermelon, was how they explained it.
Absolutely. And both lawyers tried to bring forth that type of a presentation, right? The prosecution has to get it out there how horrific it is. But Dick Harpootlian did a really good job of the exact opposite, which is to show exactly what he wants this jury to start thinking. How could this man ever do that to his son? How horrible and how heinous an event that happened to his son, and yet an hour before they seem to be getting along. And I thought Dick did a good job of sort of outlining the fact that we have to be in two extremes. He's either an absolute first-degree murderer of the worst degree, there's not a lot of evidence of that, or this is just a rush to judgment, and now there is some evidence of that. The problem with the crying, my concern is that if it comes across artificial, not when it happened, but at any other point in the trial, they're going to remember the cry, and they're going to remember it as the acting that it may turn out to have been.
All right, so Joellen, the jury is not entitled to have a motive in a murder case, but they like it. And in this particular case, and I've only got about 40 seconds here, but touch on the fact that the motive just seems crazy. He offed his wife and his son to buy time in his financial crimes? It sounds crazy.
Well, it does sound crazy, but anybody who has gone through really severe money issues will probably buy into what the prosecution is saying. That's the bottom line.
I don't know. Can you give me 10 seconds on that, Mark O'Mara? I struggle with it.
Real difficult, but that's the only motive they have. And you're right, jurors want a motive, they want an explanation. But the explanation that Alec did everything as weird as he did for years, to the extent that the prosecutors can get into it, is going to be their answer, their motive.
Mark O'Mara and Joellen Demetrius, I have to have you both back. You're like the best in the business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well.
Okay. Old boy Eric Allen had to have had videos that he took down, because there's no way that his very first video on YouTube got 1 million views. And on 8 videos, he's got 115,000 subscribers. No way, no how. So he must have taken down his other stuff. No, I'm getting off in a minute. I gotta go to bed.
Her daughter and her daughter's 3 friends. In her own words, you will hear her. You will likely be surprised by what she has to say. But we will have that story as well as more on the 6-year-old who shot the teacher and the warnings beforehand. We'll see you tomorrow.
Dude, there's no way your first video gets 1 million views. Like, your very first video goes viral. I don't buy it. That's crazy. And he's been around since 2011. But I don't care. I'll watch him for the stuff. I'll watch him for the trial. You guys saying he's good with the trial. But I'm just saying. There's no way. Nobody gets that lucky. Oh, Murdoch is a former attorney? Murdoch is a former attorney? Oh, I will. I'm sure it's on Law and Order. I mean, Law and Order. Law and Crime. Guy that went to this school was gay, and rumors were the Murdoch boys did it. His whole family returned. Yeah, I knew, like, what? What happened? Oh, I got too many windows opened. That's what happened. You gotta leave YouTube. Why? Comes a long line of attorneys. Okay.
Their own ways.
Sassy.
Some are even fighting. Now, you know where I heard the idea? Our first guest, Sean Penn. About him, brilliant in his own field, but he has made the passion of purpose his business. He's been in Haiti, he's been in Iraq, he's been everywhere there is trouble, and now that's Ukraine. To me, I know him as a brother and as a real A-plus advocate. Okay? He has a film coming out about Ukraine, and it's different than anything else I've seen. It's called Superpower. I believe it's going to shake you up and hopefully wake you up to what is at stake in that country and here. Sean joins us now. It's good to see you, handsome. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Chris. Good to see you too.
All right, let's talk about the film, and then we'll get to the state of play in Ukraine. We're both planning to go back in country. Hopefully, we'll be there together, because otherwise I won't be safe. And we want to show the state of play to the world, and certainly back here at home. Your film, Superpower, will do the same thing. What is your biggest hope for what the film does?
Well, you know what I've been noticing is that, along with the extraordinary, and I think to most of us surprising, acumen in battle as well as courage of the Ukrainians, I think that the messaging that starting with principally from the president has really been a big player in carrying this story and the interest in it. By just citizens of the U.S. a lot further than many of us thought it would go. There's always, the next news item and so on. And I think so much of that comes down to President Zelensky. With our movie, he allows us to get very close. He English is in essence his third language, and but he was willing to, at our request, speak in English, because that was going to be the audience we were looking to target. And so I think, yeah, that our film is particular in that way.
I've never seen a president be as open about an urgency. He's talking about his kids and how their lives have been changed and what he's afraid of, and how people don't understand how it's not just that he may be killed, or God forbid his own family, or Ukraine.
I think Sean Penn might have MS. The reason I say that is his little tick and stuff. That's what happened to Michael J. Fox. When he first got diagnosed, he couldn't talk right. He had like these tics when he spoke. That's exactly what he sounds like. I really do. I wonder if he has MS.
Which is that thing which is so interrupted in the United States, a kind of any kind of tangible cohesion of purpose, of unity, of civility, of respect. We have, of course, a great diversity of ideologies in this country. Ukraine doesn't have any less diversity of ideologies. But what happens is you sort of step into that which you thought you were born into in the United States when you go to Ukraine. You really feel what a democratic, unified community the entire country has become.
When Americans see this, what are you hoping it translates into for them?
You know, like with anything on film, I think, you know, film at its best, you know, offers a kind of a humanization of something that, you know, is far away and is upsetting, to say the least. You know, these are things that I think philosophically that the country, you know, there is something. I've got the you'll recall Alex, who runs the railroad in Ukraine, and this is one of the blankets from the railroad, and printed on it, it says iron and soft. And the idea behind that, and that you hear from so many, from citizens to soldiers in Ukraine, that part of the battle is to hold on to that he's calling soft, the caring humanity. And I think that we are so concerned about being quote unquote happy that we don't let happiness kind of commingle with the things that are upsetting in life, and accept that is, you know, a kind of richer experience of what we're born here for. And so for Americans to join in carrying the burden of what's happening in such an extraordinary moment in time in Ukraine, being met by the Ukrainians on a level that
All right, so nothing's confirmed about him having Parkinson's, but I'm going to make some of you guys feel really, really old. Sean Penn is 63 years old. Wow. I just feel like I got really old, because I remember Sean Penn being married to Madonna, and he was young, but now he's 63. Don't be scouting on my Chris Cuomo here. He's my man. But that's crazy. But I do. I know, right, Southern Gal? Yeah, he's 63 years old. Wow. Just wow. I never had an 80s mullet. Are you kidding me? I know. Don't you feel really old? 80 years old. I mean, 63 years old. That's like old. I don't even know if I'll live that long. He has long-term drug side effect? No, that's more like Parkinson's. I mean, they're saying he doesn't, but that's exactly how Michael J. Fox started out. He's worth $70 million. I didn't think he was worth that much. $70 million. So that's all you gotta do. Make a few movies, be rich, and then you're done. You never have to be seen again. I went down the wrong path in life. You are too stubborn. Our stubborn ones last a long time. I don't know. Never go to WebMD. If you have dementia like all the females. See, Sweet Carolyn, that's what I say. That's exactly what I say. No, but I saw the hot lawyer with his muscles. 60-year-old. I remember when I was young, I said when I'm 50, I'm going to be old and decrepit. And here I am, 52, not old or decrepit. I'll probably have kids. No, I'm telling you, my dad got diagnosed at 62. 7-year-old, yes, they can. I know this. My mother tells me. I have a disease condition that mimics Parkinson's. If someone just sees me, essential tremors. My hands and arms tremor the same as oh, does it really? I'm sorry, Moofies. I'm telling you, my dad had early onset Alzheimer's. At 62, he was diagnosed, maybe even earlier. But I go out like Robin Williams if I get Alzheimer's. I've already said it. My kids already know it. I will not go through what my dad went through. Hell to the no. Going out like Robin Williams. I wouldn't hang myself, though. I wouldn't do that to my kids. I just drive 90 miles an hour into a Mack truck. I've thought about it. I really have. I know that's crazy, but maybe by the time I have Alzheimer's, I won't remember that. But I'll drive 90 miles an hour right into a Mack truck on the highway. Be out dead on spot. Some could do it by, ooh. I don't know. Aggressively worse with age. The good news is other functional issues, essential tremors, is harmless. I'm sorry, Moofies. Nah, Mack truck wouldn't hurt. Mack truck would be fine. My dad was nice too till the end. The last 2 years was tough. Good night, Gator. If I put her in a home, she'll haunt me forever. I said that. I took care of her for a year. Well, me, my mom, the kids, we all helped. But, yeah, I would not put my kids through that. I wouldn't want to go through that. I just wouldn't. I'm a nut? Thanks. Yeah, Mack truck. Or right off a cliff. Just something that's going to kill me instantly. Like, instantly. I don't want to, like, possibly wait. Like, I want to go out. You go 90 miles an hour into a Mack truck, you're dead. You're just dead. And that's what I want, a fast death. I'm not going through Alzheimer's. I'm not. You don't fucking remember anything anyway. I'm not getting old like that. It's not happening. Nope. My kids know it. I've already told them. I said, if I get diagnosed with Alzheimer's, I'm making a video and I'm saying goodbye. But again, by the time it happens, if it's bad, I may not remember. Oh, it was horrible watching my dad. Horrible. Phoenix will cure it by then. No, he's getting into engineering now. Not if you have luck like me. I'd be the person to survive. I know, right? Fall off a 250 foot drop and I'd survive. I don't like heroin. Okay, as long as I have my mind. Exactly. As long as you have your mind intact. I'm new around here. Can you explain why you transitioned from drama to true crime? I didn't transition from drama. Oh, you mean originally? I thought you meant like overnight. I explained it earlier, seen by a subscriber. All right, let me rephrase that. I started with true crime. This channel was meant for true crime. And then when I started a new channel, and that was a drama channel. And then I lost monetization and I ended up shutting it down. And I came back to this channel and I went back to true crime. But this channel per se has always been a true crime channel. This channel was never a drama channel. But I will address it sometimes if I have to. I think Alzheimer's misdiagnosed. Maybe. Yeah, no. This wasn't like a drama channel. All of a sudden I decided to do true crime. No. But I walked away from the drama because it's the same old bullshit over and over and over. It's boring. And the people who are in it are fucking morons. H is cleaner than a Mack truck. Yeah, but then my kids would find me. I don't want my kids finding me. Yeah, no, this channel was never a drama channel. Let's play two chicken. No, that's the thing, though. I just, I don't want to be found by my kids. I don't want them to, I don't know. I wouldn't want them finding me dead. I mean, I was 40. When did my dad die? 40 something? Yeah, early 40s when my dad died. And the face when he died, I'll never forget it. It like haunts me. It sticks with me. Because he looked like he had this weird sunken face. It was strange. But it's a sight I'll never forget. Collected my nurse. I was not allowed to get it. Ooh, that's horrible. I'm sorry, Sassy. That's what I'm saying. And I don't want them to have to worry about taking care of me. Just let me go. Two panel friends are arguing which Swendega, which channel? Exactly, Janice. My mom's still alive, thankfully. I'm sorry, Sassy. That's one club I don't ever want to belong to. Go to a hotel and do H, some random housekeeper will find. Yeah. I don't know. My luck, I would just end up brain dead or something. Or I'd like shoot it in the wrong vein and I'd have like a horrible death. And I wouldn't want to like get run over by a train or anything. Oh, no. And I wouldn't want to jump off a building, nothing like that. Just hit my car on the gas, hit the gas, put my head down, and fucking bye-bye world. I've thought about it. I'm not kidding. I know it's crazy. I just want my kids to be set. I want my kids to have kids. Dementia and Alzheimer's. Dementia, many old people get. Alzheimer's is just a separate type of disease. You should listen to a video. My mom was talking about the doctors told her dementia was progressing rapidly. It's tough. Oh, God, Swen. Receiving from your date that you got a little hubba from. Woo woo. Krista got laid and he sent her a text. It is painful. I'm telling you, I'm not going through it. I'm going out. Instant death. That I'm in control of. It's about MGL and heels. Okay, let me just say something on that and then I'm getting off. And I mean this 100%. If I don't like somebody, like really don't like them, I'm not watching them day after day after day after day. And some of these people, not all of them, but some of these people who claim they don't like somebody know more about them than I do, and I'm like, you know, friends with her and have been on and off for years. I don't know as much as they do. I don't watch her as much as they do. So people that claim they don't like somebody know every move she makes. That's fucking weird to me. It's very weird. Because I'm just not like that. You know, I may watch you once in a blue moon, but I don't know I don't know anything about Olivia. I don't know anything about Betty. I mean, I know a little, but I don't know. I just don't. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not in her lives much. You know, there's a lot of stuff she talks about I just have no interest in. Like the whole Dre thing. I got no interest in Dre. But you know what I'm saying, though? It's like people just claim that they hate someone so much, but they know everything about them. It's weird. I knew something was wrong, but I could not get to her. What do you mean? Get to who? You don't speak in full sentences, Sassy. I need a full sentence. Get to who? That's the content. But that's what I'm saying. It's just weird. I mean, I listened to a little bit of that because I wanted to see if she was still talking shit about me. But I listened to some of it. And I'm like, you see people in chat going, how much they hate this, how much they hate that, then don't watch her. But I certainly wouldn't sit in a live about people that I don't like. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Betty is 44, I think. 44. I know she's like 7 or 8 years younger than me. She was saying what happened to her. Oh, okay. Oh. I gotta get off. I gotta go to bed. I'm so tired. But don't forget, order your candles. I am got Valentine's Day candles. Everything will be on the website by the 27th. So I will see you all tomorrow. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you to the few that super chatted. We nowhere near goals, so that's going to be double tomorrow. It's the end of the month. We're already at the 26th. So yeah, I'm telling you, if I'm going to be a fucking, if I'm going to be called a tragedy pimp, I'm going to make money like a tragedy pimp. So there. We're going to be banging out some funds. I'm totally playing with you guys. Betty Ski's a Bullhorn Betty. Bullhorn Betty. That's a good one, Zoot. I never thought of that. I like that. So, all right. I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I'll stream the trial. I got to see how much is going on. Hey, Scooby. I got to see how much is going on. See if I should stream the trial or not. I don't know yet. It depends how much of the website I can get done while you guys are watching it on the other screen. So, all right. I will see you guys later. Peace. And let me tell you what I am mad about. All right. I'm going to tell you what I'm mad about. I had consistently over 300 to 400 people tonight, and I only have 142 thumb ups. I have seen people that have 500 views and have 300 thumb ups. I've seen people that have, 2,000-3,000 views that have 800 thumb ups. Can you guys tell me why you can never hit the thumb up? And I'm even talking to the people in the back. Hit the fucking thumb down. I don't care. Just say something. Just hit something. All right. I'll see you guys later. Love you. Peace. Yeah, thumb up, thumb down, doesn't matter. Just fucking hit one of them. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. What? I do tell them to. I even have this thing I put up. Smash button. That's a hint. Thumb up. You have to stop talking, sharing content. Why? But I like looking at Cuomo. He's cute. It's nice. You know, I feel like he's talking to me when I look out of my right eye and he's right there. That's why. I know. All right, I'll see you guys later. I'm so tired. But for those of you that came in late, Phoenix passed his driver's test, so he's now totally legal. For those of you that missed it in the beginning. So, all right, I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Peace. And check my stream tomorrow. You never know. I may stream it. If I get more than 200-300 people, I'll stream it again. If I get the standard 30 or 40, nope, not happening. Yeah, I made him buy me lunch today. He's like, why am I buying? I said, because you guys got more money than I do, so you're going to buy. So, all right, but I'll see you.